Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you can tell by the title today, we're going to be talking about my twin pregnancy and pretty much just kind of what to expect if you're having twins, and more so just my tips and advice to give out, because pregnancy in general is already, you know, life-changing, and then you throw another baby in that mix and it's just, it can be overwhelming to say the least. But before I jump into all of that, I just kind of wanted to give a quick little backstory about how I found out I was pregnant, and then even finding out how we were having twins. So let's do a little like time traveling. So it is 2016, and like I've mentioned before in other videos, my husband and I, we were stationed overseas in Japan, and at this time my husband had just left for like about a 6-week TDY. So he went to Alaska. So obviously I was alone in Japan, and he was gone. So I think it was either like the first or second week into his TDY, my sister had called me, and she was like, you know, hey, like, how are you? And just asking me like little questions. I'm like, you know, I'm good, you know, Brandon's gone, I'm bored, you know, same old stuff like us wives say when our spouse leaves. And so she just kind of changed the subject, and my sister said, she's like, so this man at my church, she was like, he was asking how you are, and my sister just saying, oh, you know, she's good, just back in Yokota, you know, with her husband. And the man had said, is your sister expecting? And my sister said, no, she's not, but you know, we've been praying for her because she does want a baby. And he just told her, like, really mysterious, like, he's like, I think you should give her a call. And so my sister's like, so he told me that today. She's like, so I'm calling you. And she's like, you know, like, are you pregnant? And I told her, no, I'm not pregnant. Like, no, there's no way. So that was just like, you know, whatever conversation. That was maybe like on a Monday or Tuesday. We hung up. I kind of left the thought alone. And then fast forward a couple days, it's like a Thursday morning, legit like 6 o'clock in the morning on the dot. I'm gonna say, you know, God woke me up, and I just heard a voice say, go take a pregnancy test. So I had a pregnancy test in my bathroom, but what I didn't tell anyone, like I told no one about this, I prayed over that pregnancy test a month before, and because I thought I was pregnant the month before, but obviously it came out negative. So like I said, I had this pregnancy test and I prayed over it. God, like, the next time I take this test out and I use it, I just, you know, pray and ask like that it be positive. Because I haven't mentioned this yet on my channel, but the year prior, me and Brandon did lose a baby. So I had a miscarriage like maybe like 9 months before then. So sorry, I'm like, I always get a little emotional when I talk about this stuff, because it's just how good God is. And then I just put it back in my what do you call it, like the cabinet in the bathroom, and I left it alone for a month. So like I said, Thursday morning I wake up and I just hear this voice, and it just says, you know, go take that test. So I'm like half asleep, and I'm just like, okay. I get up, I take the test, you know, do what I gotta do on the stick, and I put it on my table, and I like walk out the bathroom because I'm getting kind of like nervous, you know what I mean? And maybe not even 20 seconds later, like not even, like I walked in and out, I come just to peek at the table, and right away it says pregnant. In that moment, like, I don't want to cry on camera because that's not my style, but I fell to the floor and I just cried. And of course I just, you know, told God thank you, because we had just had kind of a really long year that year. Maybe I can make another video of all that stuff, but it was just a really long year. And just to see like that pregnant sign again, it was so exciting. So I was a little sad, like I said at first, because I was like, wow, Brandon's gone, like, how do I tell him? And I didn't want to just tell him over the phone, or, you know, like message him on Facebook, say, hey, I'm pregnant. So I wasn't sure how I was going to tell him yet, but of course I had to call my sister that morning, and I was crying, and I just told her, like, I just took a pregnancy test, it's positive, like, I'm so excited. And from there, you know, we were just saying, like, because the man's name was Elder Mitchell, and we're just like, man, like God told him, you know what I mean? Because he had asked her like that Sunday, and then that Thursday I had taken a test, and that was just kind of like the beginning of all the excitement. but I kind of want to do another time jump. I don't want this this video to be too confusing, but this is just a little story I want to tell. So before all of that exciting stuff had happened, like I mentioned, I did have a miscarriage. I had lost a baby in October 2015, and I had went to go see my sister because they were also stationed in Japan. So me and Brandon had flown down for Christmas to go spend the holidays with them, and I had two different people, okay, at two different times come and tell me. One lady had said God gave me a dream and he basically showed me that you're gonna have twins, and I just was like I kind of cried because I, like I said, I had just lost a baby a couple months before, and I just wasn't ready to think about all of that stuff. But you know, she just mentioned like, you are gonna get twins, and you know, when someone says that, you know, of course you like have faith, but at the same time you're like, that's kind of bold to say, okay. And I went about the rest of my trip, and then we were at church another time on a Sunday, and we were, you know, the whole church was praying, and a different lady had come up to me, having no idea what another woman had told me in my sister's house, but she said, this year is going to be your year of double blessings, because it was like a New Year's service. And she just said like where people get blessed, you're gonna get double. And she just kind of said that, and she just said, but you know, you need to go pray and, you know, ask God to fill you up again. And she was just telling me like God was telling her through her to me that God is going to bless me because of my faith. Just because, you know, like I said, I lost the baby. That was a really hard time, but I never like wavered as far as, you know, believing in God. And I just kept faith that, you know, something else was going to happen, whether it was another baby or, you know, God is just going to bring just positivity and just, I don't know, peace in my life. I just kept faith in God the entire time. And I never got angry. I know that's kind of a touchy subject because of course people, you go through many emotions when you lose a baby, but one thing I never got was like angry. I just, you know, everything else but anger. Like I said, that was like around Christmas time and New Year's time of 2015, and I just kind of put it in the back of my mind. I didn't really think about it again, and I just went about my life with Brandon. Fast forward, now I said like we're in August 2016 now, like 8 months later. I find out I'm pregnant. I'm really excited, and obviously Brandon came home after a month. I told him, and I was obviously starting to tell all of my family at this point. So I called my parents, I called his parents, I called my like grandmas, and it was really funny because my grandma, I had called her, you know, like, Grandma, I'm pregnant, and she just said, Priscilla, what if you have twins? And I had told her like, Grandma, don't say that, like I'll be thankful with just like one baby. She actually feels like, I don't want to say guilty now, but she always makes a joke like, I was just kidding, like you didn't have to have twins. I'm like, Grandma, I couldn't control that, like my body just happened to make twins at the time. I don't know. So now let's fast forward all of that, and now it is like October 2016, and we are going to our first ultrasound. They don't do ultrasounds until you are about 12 weeks along. So I was 12 weeks, we're in the office now, and she's, you know, checking my uterus, trying to see, you know, the baby, the heartbeat, all the stuff they want to check for. She's just looking, and she just goes, I think there's 2 in there, but let me double check. And so she had to go leave out of the room, and because she had to go get a different machine to check me vaginally. So she left the nurse in there, and it was just me, the nurse, and Brandon. And I don't know why, you guys, but the first thing that came out of my mouth was, I'm gonna slap you. Like I looked at Brandon and I told him that. But I just kind of got like you don't know what to like expect when someone says that. But I was like in my mind like, well, don't freak out yet, because she hasn't confirmed anything. So Brandon just kind of looks at me and laughs, and I kind of look up at him again, and Brandon is so pale in the face. Like I had never seen him like so white. He looked like a ghost. It was really funny. And he had asked the doctor when she had come back in with a different machine, he was like, can I sit down for this one? So he legit had to take a seat to see what she was gonna say next. So, you know, now we're getting checked again, and of course she just says, okay, yes, there's definitely 2 in there. And then she just, you know, says, congratulations, you're having twins. So in that moment, all I could do was laugh. I didn't know what else to do, but I just like, I cracked up laughing, and I just was just really overwhelmed with emotions. And in the moment though, none of that like came rushing to my mind at, you know, like, oh, these people told me this. Like, I wasn't thinking about that in the moment. I was just like, okay, we're gonna have twins. So obviously we get out of our appointment, we call our families, and we're telling everyone like there's two, we're gonna have twins. And I know like you guys obviously don't know me in real life, but I play around a lot. I'm like always making jokes, I'm always laughing. And I had called my parents and I'm like, you know, you guys, like, I'm having twins. And my mom thought I was lying, and she was like, you need to quit lying, quit playing with me. And I'm like, Mom, like, I would not lie about this, I promise you, like, I'm having twins. And funny enough too, she had to go sit outside where she was at in Colorado and get some fresh air. I think she was just like in shock, like, wow, my daughter's about to have twins. But overall, we were all just so happy, so excited, and just so thankful. Just to see kind of literally how life came full circle for me. Like, that's the only way I can describe that, just because I had lost a baby October 5th, 2015, and then I found out I was pregnant with twins October 6th, 2016. So like literally a year later, I found out I was having twins. And it's like I said, when I think about that, I do get emotional, just because it's like, wow, like God is so good. And it's those things for me that show me in my life, like, I can never dismiss God, because he's shown himself to me so many times. And like my kids, they're just literally an answered prayer. I know many parents say that, but truly my kids were my answered prayer, and I was just so happy. And that was pretty much the beginning of life as being a mom and dad for me and Brandon. And since then, you know, it's been nothing but fun. But let's get away from all the emotional things and let's jump right into my advice that I have to give to you guys. So I did make a little list of things that I want to talk about, just so I don't lose like track and I don't repeat myself, because I am known for talking a lot, and I feel like this video is already going to be kind of long. So obviously when you are pregnant, some people are different than others, but for majority of us, we do get like morning sickness, and we do throw up a lot and things like that. So for me, I had very intense morning sickness. I was literally throwing up 4 to 5 times a day. I was actually losing weight at first when I was pregnant, the first 4 to 5 months, because I was constantly getting sick all the time. And I will say, for me, that was probably the worst part of my pregnancy. I was kind of irritated in the beginning, if I'm being quite honest with you. I know that sounds bad to say, but I was just really irritated, just because I felt like I wasn't getting to really enjoy the pregnancy at that point, only because I was getting sick so much. I couldn't keep food down, anything like that. I also developed like motion and car sickness. I had never had that before, so sometimes I would just get in the car and get really sick, and I could even just be doing something random and get like crazy motion sickness. And it was just, excuse me, it was a mess. And I was struggling in the beginning, if I'm being honest. By the way, you guys, I'm so sorry if the lighting keeps going in and out. There's like, the clouds are moving in and out, so I'm sorry. Anyways, so outside of all of the sickness, my doctor was able to prescribe me obviously prenatals, and she it was a girl, she also prescribed me iron pills, just because my iron levels were low when they took my blood. So I had to take iron every day, and if you guys don't know, iron can make you constipated. So I know that's not that cute, but it happens when you're like, lots of things happen when you're pregnant. But so because I was constipated, they also gave me stool softener to take, and those 3 things I had to take twice a day, just so I was getting literally double the vitamins from the prenatals and all that to each baby and myself, just because, you know, you don't want to be short of that in your body. You want to have surplus of everything for everyone in there. So I had to take double of that every day. About the 5 months into my pregnancy, I had finally asked my doctor, like, is there anything we could do about me throwing up, because I couldn't keep much down. I was feeling like very fatigued and just weak all the time. So thank God she had something for me, and it is called, I'm looking at my notes, sorry, but it is called Zofran, like a little white pill. You just place it on your tongue and it dissolves instantly, and it kind of has like a minty taste, so it's nothing like nasty or like, you know, something that you can't handle. And like I said, it dissolves very quickly, and literally that thing changed my life. I was able to finally have like a decent appetite. I wasn't eating like crazy, like I didn't get like this huge appetite, but I was able to finally keep more food down. I wasn't as nauseous, and Zofran was one of those things like you could take on the spot whenever you're feeling sick. So if I had to take 3 a day, I had to take 3 a day. There's no limit on it. But literally whenever I'd feel those symptoms come on to me, I would just take that and I would feel better within minutes, and I would like make myself eat something just to avoid, you know, getting sick or anything, getting lightheaded, nauseous, all of those things, you know, that come along with pregnancy. I will say, if you can though, try to avoid ever being hungry, even if it's just literally eating a couple crackers and water, or just like 1 orange, like something simple, because I did find that if I ever allowed myself to go even just a little bit hungry, I would get sick instantly, and my body would be like, yeah girl, like you messed up, now you're about to feel like the wrath of this. So just also make sure you're snacking throughout the day. And if you can't get Zofran from your doctor, 3 things that I would really recommend for you to get, you can even buy them on Amazon. I believe they're called Preggy Pops, and they're pretty much just like a sucker that's sour. But it really does, I don't know what it is with sour candies, but that one in particular really did help me. And I would also always carry with me Jolly Ranchers, and it's like the Lifesavers, and it's like the white minty one. I always had those 3 things on me as well if I didn't have like a snack on me, just to kind of pop in my mouth and just have something, you know, like to give me, I don't know if it was like sugar or what it was, but those type of things as well like really did help me when I was starting to feel sick and I couldn't like go eat. There's that stuff. So the next thing I want to talk about is just pretty much like what to expect when you are doing your checkups. So of course we do get our regular checkups, meaning they measure your belly, they, you know, check the baby's heart rate, and what else were they doing? I had to get my blood drawn as well, like more than once. I only thought like you only get your blood drawn when they're trying to see if you're pregnant, but no, they took my blood quite often, and I actually had to pee in a cup more than once on my doctor visits. But I think they only really do that just to make sure like your pregnancy levels are going up and not going down. So even though those 2 things are a little annoying to do, they're definitely necessary. I know for me, I couldn't stand getting my blood drawn. I don't think anyone likes it, but it was just kind of annoying after a while. But like I said, those are just like the little annoying things you have to do, but they're necessary. Also, I did pass my glucose test, which, you know, you have to drink like that nasty syrupy drink, but I did pass that, thank God. But I know if you don't pass it, you have to take it more than once, but I'm not too sure. I just know for me, I passed it my first time and I never had to drink it again. But it's not as bad as people say. I think I got the Sprite one and I just drank it down, sat there for an hour and took my blood, and we were good to go. So just drink it down. Don't let people like gross you out about it. You can get it done, because those are like the simple things you have to do while you're pregnant. Like that's like nothing compared to what's to come. So for me also, I was able to get more ultrasounds than I guess like a singleton pregnancy, just because they want to make sure that both babies are growing at like an equal rate, and you know, they're both healthy. So that was kind of like a plus, I guess, just being able to see my babies. I saw them quite often, and I have like a folder full of the ultrasound pictures. They were so nice. They always printed them out for me. So that's pretty much what to expect like when you're going to the doctor's office for your checkups. And obviously you're going to have more checkups than a singleton pregnancy, just because you are considered high-risk pregnancy. Even if nothing is technically wrong with you, that's just what they label us automatically. But don't freak out if they tell you that. It's completely normal. So let's start talking about what happens to you physically when you are having twins. So the most obvious thing that happens to your body is your belly starts to grow really quickly. If I can find a picture, I will insert it. But I started to show about 16 weeks in, and normally people don't show until they're like at least 20 something weeks along, but for me, I obviously started to show right away. Of course, if I wear like baggy clothes, you couldn't tell, but if I did have like tighter shirts on, you could definitely see like a little bump forming, and my stomach was getting harder. So like I said, besides your belly growing extremely fast, my belly, it didn't get itchy that often. I know some people say like their belly gets really itchy. I really didn't have that, and if I ever did, I would just get like my mama lotion or like a belly oil that I had, and I would just rub it on my belly, and that would usually help the itchiness go away. One like baby oil that I could really recommend for you is probably, it's by Burt's Bees, and it's like a lemon scent. I don't know the name. If I could find a picture, I'll try to insert it for you guys. But I used that Burt's Bees oil, and like I said, it smells like lemons, and it smelled like a lemon cake. It was just the best oil ever. I really did like that one, and it wasn't like super greasy, so your skin would like absorb it and it wouldn't just sit on the surface of your skin. I really would recommend that one if you guys are looking for like a belly oil. I also got this pain called round ligament pain. Now that right there freaking sucked. Whenever my body would get those pains, because it's kind of like on the sides of your stomach, I would have to sometimes sit down and just stay still for a little bit until the pain kind of passed. I don't know how else to describe the pain other than saying that like it really sucked. It just didn't feel good. But don't freak out, those are normal as well. It's just because your stomach muscles are trying to keep up with how fast they are getting stretched, because you know, like they're not getting stretched and going back, like they're getting stretched and getting more stretched. So just expect those type of pains, and when you do feel them, the only thing I could say is just try to drink some water and just chill out for a minute. For me, I was working at the time. I was working at an elementary school, so I had to do a lot of walking back and forth because I was hopping from literally every grade all day. So I was, again, doing a lot of walking up and down stairs, across schoolyards and all of that. And whenever I would feel those pains, I just have to sit down and let it pass. So yeah. So next thing I want to talk about is my diet. So for me, like I mentioned earlier, I couldn't eat that much because it seemed like for the first 4 to 5 months I was getting very sick. But once I took the Zofran, I was able to get, again, a decent appetite back. But for me, my diet was very, very simple. Because my kids were it seemed like they were picky in my stomach. I don't know, but the only thing that I could stomach for the longest time was cream. Sorry about that, my camera cut off. But anyway, as I was saying, cream of wheat was something that I ate all the time. It really did help me. I don't know why. It's just something my body wouldn't throw back up. I really didn't have much like cravings. I know some people say like they crave like pickles with ice cream or something. I didn't have those cravings, but I did have like simple cravings, and it's literally just 2 cravings. I was kind of boring. I always wanted like chocolate milk and those little cutie oranges. I don't know what it was, but I really loved those during my pregnancy. I felt like if I didn't get them, I was gonna have like a bad attitude for the rest of the day. So I always had my chocolate milk and my oranges with me, but those were pretty much my favorite things to eat. So for me, like I mentioned, I was working at an elementary school and I was exercising a lot. I would definitely consider that exercising when you're pregnant. I was constantly walking all day. If you aren't someone who exercises beforehand, that's completely fine, because neither did I. But I would just recommend that you at least try to walk at least 20 minutes a day, and I feel like it will help you, you know, feel better, get some energy, and just getting some fresh air. So if you can't do anything else like go to the gym, just go out for a walk for 20 minutes and I think you'll feel a lot better. And I know we hear this all the time, but just please drink water all day. Like even when you think like you just cannot drink any more water, drink more water. I know we're gonna be peeing like 15 to 20 minutes like on the hour, but you just need to drink your water. Like I don't know how else to explain this to you. It is just very important. Just drink your water. Try not to drink a lot of sodas and juices. I actually had completely cut that out of my diet when I was pregnant, and if I did ever have a soda or a juice, it was like very small. I never finished the whole thing. It was just kind of like a treat for me because it just made my stomach upset. But again, you guys might have a completely different twin pregnancy from me, and you might be able to eat lots of things, but for me, I couldn't. My body was just very sensitive to everything. But again, drink your water. So I'm just going down my list. I'm pretty much tackled almost everything. So for me, I was one of those moms that I had decided right off the bat, like I'm going to bottle feed or formula feed my babies. I just kind of thought back then that I couldn't breastfeed. I don't know what it was. I just don't know if I didn't have like the confidence in myself, but I had just decided with my husband, like, okay, we're gonna formula feed. I don't see anything wrong with it. And I just kind of thought it's gonna make my life easier, you know, with twins. But unfortunately, well, I don't want to say unfortunately, but let's fast forward to the day that I had them. I was looking at their little faces, and what did I do? I told my husband, I think I want to breastfeed them. So I had decided literally like last minute of the last minute of the last minute that I was going to breastfeed. I had done no research at all. I didn't know anything about it at all, me or my husband. I never took the classes. I never even looked things up on YouTube. I had just assumed that I was going to bottle feed them. So thankfully I had some really great nurses that helped me breastfeed, and learning how to pump and all of that stuff, and learning how to breastfeed 2 babies at once. And I was able to do that for about 7 months with them, which makes me really happy. Totally wish we could have went longer, but they didn't want to. That's another story for another day. But I would just say, just be prepared. I'm sure most moms are probably not like me, and they're gonna learn both. But for me, I had made up my mind, so I thought, and then I changed it last minute, and I was not prepared at all. So just, you know, do your research. Even if you don't think you're gonna breastfeed, I would say just do the research, because you just never know what's gonna happen when you see your baby's faces for the first time. Because I'm telling you, I had made up my mind I was not gonna breastfeed, but you just see their little faces, and it's just something in you just is like, let's try this. But of course, if you don't get that, that's completely fine too. I think formula or breast milk is both equal. As long as the baby is being fed, that's all that matters. It's when you don't start to feed your baby, then I'm like, girl, what are you doing? So now that we got all the fun stuff out of the way, I just kind of wanted to talk to you guys and just tell you, you know, twin pregnancy, it's not easy. I don't think pregnancy in general is easy for anyone, but it's life-changing. Like, you know, I feel like becoming a mom, your entire life changes, your entire personality changes. You're not the same person that you were before kids. Like, all of this is very obvious, but just know, like, this twin pregnancy, like, it's hard, but it's not impossible, and you just have to stay positive when things are not going your way. Like, for me, when I was throwing up all the time, I was actually pretty mad. I was in bad moods a lot, just because I just wasn't feeling like myself. And I thought pregnancy was gonna be like rainbows and flowers all day. No, you get constipated, you throw up a lot, and sometimes you're just moody, you know what I mean? But outside of all that, I really did enjoy my pregnancy. I had no complications, thank God. My kids didn't have to stay in the NICU, and I pretty much made it full term. I made it to 36 weeks, which is, again, really good considering twins. Just enjoy your pregnancy, and if you can, just try to document it a lot, because that's something I actually didn't do. I'm more of a person that is like literally living in the moment, and I don't take many pictures of everything. And I think that's one thing that I wish I had done more of, just more pictures of me and my husband, if anything. If you can, just get, like, you know, just document it. And for sure, I would definitely recommend like a newborn session, just because those are pictures and moments that you can't always get back. And the newborn, like the newborn season, I don't know what to call it, it goes by really fast. Like, it's like you blink and then they're like 6 months old, you blink again, and now my kids are 2 years old. I actually miss being pregnant. Brennan says that I was really nice when I was pregnant. I don't know what that means, but but I'm gonna end the video here. I hope that this video helped you guys, and it kind of gives you some insight of what to expect. And if I haven't told you already, congratulations if you're having twins, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.